And shaboop, we are live. All right, hello everybody. We are back. Misadventures Part 4. Everybody, please, from YouTube and Twitch, a warm welcome to Cecilia. Wonderful addition to the rulebook optional crew, and hopefully we'll be sticking around for many more Misadventures sessions with Kate. How you both doing tonight?
Swell.
Hanging in there.
Feeling misadventurous.
Oh, misadventurous. Okay, got it. That's what we're gonna start calling Delilah. Misadventure.
That was very accurate, actually.
Also, when's the last time we did this? Like early April?
I
That sounds right.
don't know.
It's almost been 2 months.
Know.
It's almost been 2 months. A lot has changed. We now have emotes, we have channel points, we have an extra player added to the roster. It's been in the works for a while, and I am very, very excited. So anything you guys want to chat about before we hop right in?
Good to go.
I'm ready to go.
Ready to rock and ready to rock. Okay. Then, Cecilia, you hopefully never forget your first, but I start all of my sessions in a little bit of a different way. We breathe in all of the negativity that we accrued throughout the day, and we breathe it out so we can remain focused and present within the world. And you do not have to if you do not want to, but, well, we all want to play some D&D?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes and yes. Then, a deep and cleansing breath before we jump in. Sound good?
Yeah.
All right, then, please join me. Feels good. Feels good to be back. And everything after the breath is canon. So, it has been a while since we have done this, Kate and Cecilia. You've never been here before, and you have roughly followed the story so far. But I thought it would be good to go over some older information, just do a quick recap of the story so far to get you all caught up, so we can get locked the fuck in. Sound good?
All right.
Okay,
Yes.
Awesome. So, previously on Misadventures, like the fucking Star Wars credits start rolling. Delilah, the Delilah, the Alatush Ranger, was fatally wounded due to Cowrie Shadrack's sonic blast at the Battle of the Bards. In her fugue state, she was revived by the God of Revenge, nicknamed Chef, who caused her to relive her most painful memory. We learn that Delilah's chicken Dew is actually the Alatush noblewoman Vivian Dubois, who was polymorphed after she murdered her once best friend Daniel in a blind, vengeful rage. Delilah was then introduced to Yasa Six Spirals, who was happy to chat philosophy and give her some pretty powerful weapons and armor before sending her on her way to hunt down Cowrie Shadrack and deliver her to the sixth circle of hell by any means necessary. Investigating Simpleton, Delilah met with Tior Fedorov at Ortux's library observatory, where she used barter, deception, and mistruths to learn that Cowrie Shadrack may be heading to the well to exact revenge, commit grand larceny, and continue their path of chaos. How dare they?
How dare.
So, boo, Cowrie. This is an anti-Cowrie stream.
Boo.
Yeah,
Boo,
they
get
can't
'em
just...
out.
Delilah, are you just gonna let them get away with that shit? You're just gonna let them get away with that shit?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. So, using a teleport spell just after Tior discovered this deception, Delilah, you have arrived at the Well, a town of 3 Aztec-inspired temples dedicated to a pirate's most coveted comforts: wealth, feasts, and love. It's a town of glitz and glamour and gambling, not to mention the endless entertainment. There's the Aquatic Love Temple with its renowned pheromone pools and seawater spas. There's the Wealth Temple with its vast casino floors and the ever-exclusive Diamond Club. And finally, the Feast Temple, home to all types of cuisine, as well as the Colosseum battle known as the Food Chain, where contenders fight non-lethally against monsters of all kinds. So, Kate, it's going to be a little bit of like a different kind of session because we have someone else to play off of now. So in order for this to go smoothly, why don't we say that Delilah has spent maybe like a day and a night at the well, exploring the temples, like asking around for information, and perhaps enjoying the amenities. Now, does that sound agreeable?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. So would you be able to reintroduce Delilah to us? Her appearance, her clothing, her general vibe, like, what she's about, while also letting us know, maybe keeping it in mind, if she has changed at all after being in the well for a day and a night. Has she had a spa day? Has she changed her clothing, like adorned her armor? Paint us a full word picture. The floor is yours.
Whew. All right. Trying to get back in the headspace. Alright. Delilah is a halfling ranger who, like you said, is from Alator. She was a dancer in Alator, so she's very graceful on her feet. She moves with a very fluid motion. She has had some adventures lately. She died, I think, ? And then came back to life, thanks to Yasa. And because of some earlier experiences in her life, with a friend betraying her, Daniel, Delilah has taken on the attitude or the perspective of seeking out justice for herself and for those around her who she cares about, and finding justice how she sees fit, which has kind of been changing a little bit, and she's discovering what justice actually means besides her own besides her own opinion. Especially meeting Yasa and Chef, she has been under some influences of different ideas of justice. And now arriving in the well, she is seeking out Cowrie with the help of Yasa. And having been in the well, I think, probably really weird for her to see everyone else going around their lives, just living it really normally, because I think now that she has been to the 6th circle of hell, is that right?
Yes, 6th circle, yep.
And seeing all the damn souls and kind of what awaits people who get taken there, I guess. She's probably walking around like, wow, people don't know what's coming. And she probably leans more toward, I'm trying to think of which way she leans towards, of like, might as well have fun while you can, versus maybe don't fuck up a little bit, because of the idea of justice. However, I don't think she sees anything wrong with gambling and hedonism and stuff like goes on here. So I think she's probably enjoying a little bit of the freedom of not really, there's no one to be wronged here, really, I think, that she cares about at the moment. She's kind of just here to have a good time and then get down to business.
Okay, here to have a good time and get down to business. What exactly would that look like for Delilah?
Having a good time?
Yes, absolutely.
Honestly, I think people watching. I think she would love to, like, maybe go to the food chain and watch the fights, but also maybe watch people in the crowd as, like, people that they're betting on, get their hopes up and then they lose, or someone like a underdog wins, and watching all the crowd reactions, and then maybe going to the Wealth Temple and just watching people interact and like bicker over these little things, watching people in like these extravagant clothes kind of flaunt their wealth, and I think she mostly keeps to herself, so she's not really interested in getting to know anyone. So at the moment, I think that she's trying to keep a pretty low profile. So she's not really doing any gambling or any like participating in any fighting or anything like that. She's kind of just observing, watching, taking her enjoyment, and watching people win or lose.
Okay, an excellent excellent description. Thank you so much, Kate. Definitely getting back into the mindset of Delilah. We love it, love it, love it. Can you give me a quick, so you mentioned the food chain, you mentioned the wealth temple. With all these things, we're just gonna kind of reorder it a bit, but I love each and every one of those. Give me a quick perception check for the wealth temple. Like as you're there on the massive casino floor, there's glitz and glamour all around you. People surrounding you of all kinds. What'd you get for the perception check?
I got an 8. And I have a +5.
You got an 8 with a +5. Give me 1 second to make a stealth check real quick.
Oh, Lord.
With below a 10, give that to me with advantage.
All right. Let's try this one. Advantage. Okay. Just the one roll, or can I roll again?
You may roll again. Yes, I will allow you to. And I am surprised that you got below a 3.
I got a 21.
Holy shit. Okay. You said that you're
Highs and
people
lows.
watching. As you're people watching, again, it's pirates. It's all these like groups of 4, groups of 5, all moving around. You're able to notice they all have papers in their hands, bounty papers, a staple through and through, like basically a staple like connecting all of them together. And right there on the front, you're able to see it as clear as the stone carvings that Yasa showed you. You're able to see the likeness of Cowrie Shadrack on the front. Clearly, the news of the Battle of the Bards has exploded outward across Western waters, and Cowrie is now the most wanted person in Western waters.
I thought you were gonna say like celebrated, like what a good job. Thank God she's hated.
No, yeah, oh yeah. Well, not hated, but is worth like, and I'll say like kind of like listening around, you're able to hear like 10,000 gold from Cowrie Shadrack alone, and then you're able to hear like another voice, like another group like talking about it, being like, and I hear it's 3,000 for each of the crewmates,
Okay.
or was it 5? And welcome in, Gab. We're just getting into it. And Gab, a wonderful voice is coming just for you, so stick around. As you kind of, so you realize, oh, Cowrie's wanted by a hell of a lot more people. Maybe advantageous to you, maybe a bit of a detraction, because that means that more people might get to them before you can. But as you're walking around this casino floor, you are able to watch as there are like 4 Eter guards, the family that owns the Wealth Temple. They're walking in formation around a central figure, who then basically like calls out and says, "That's enough from all of you. I want some privacy." And you are able to notice a figure that I will describe to you right now. She is a dwarven woman, only about 4 feet tall. Her legs are like very short, torso is very short. She has noble clothing along with like studded armor, and you're able to notice that she has like thick golden braided hair and a thick golden braided beard to match. And you're able to hear one of the dwarven guards go, "Hardjack, I'm not sure that you should be going alone nowadays." And you're able to hear this dwarven woman respond with, "What are you talking about? I got a meeting to have in the food chain. I don't give away penthouses for free." And Hardjack immediately takes up a cloak, puts it on, puts the hood up, and basically loses her guards in the crowd and begins moving towards what you would have to assume to be the food chain. Now, mentioning the food chain before, you realize this like important person is like moving towards there. Do you go to the food chain? Do you follow? What do you do?
I do want to follow because I'm curious, but also I'm curious because of how they move so stealthily. I'm like, what's their deal? But also, they seem to be someone of importance. So it could be worth something to follow them, so I would like to pursue.
Okay, you would like to pursue. If you would like to give me a stealth check to remain unseen, you definitely can. Yeah, go right ahead. If you would like to, if you'd like to interact with them, you may also do that.
For now, I just want to watch them.
Okay.
That is another 21.
That is another. You are completely invisible. You're a ranger. It's like you're hunting without without like the lethal consequence, as your eyes lock onto this like cloaked, shorter figure as you just begin to and move around the crowds, never blinking, never taking your eyes off of them, as Hardjack seems to take these routes that go outside of the Wealth Temple, into the Feast Temple, and then into the massive food chain Colosseum. And again, the roaring crowd all around you, you're able to hear like all these voices screaming and chanting like, boo! Yes! Yes! Again, it's a Colosseum battle that is in the midst of one of its spectacles. And Hardjack walks up. So Hardjack is going like into the bleachers now. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So Hardjack going like into the bleachers goes and sits down. Like relatively like cramped. Again, it's so loud it's hard to hear these like conversations, but you realize they're sitting down and there's an open spot directly like on the bleacher right beneath them. So like where their feet are, like right behind there's an open spot in front of them.
Yeah, I'll sit there.
You want to
I was gonna sit next to them.
You want to sit there?
Yeah, I'll sit there.
Okay, absolutely perfect. We're gonna cut away from you real quick. That okay? Perfect. Let me very quickly get this up.
Spooky.
Cecilia.
Yes.
A running theme in Misadventures is pain. It's pain and determination. So this introduction may be a bit confusing, but just know that it'll make sense in a second, all right? Is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, it did not come through.
And then one more question for you. You ready to rock?
Yep.
Okay. Cecilia, I would like you to introduce your character in an imperfect state. And by that, I mean your character currently has 1/4 hit points and is bleeding heavily from their mouth onto a stone floor. They are currently on all fours, and give me a quick con saving throw, and beat a 14.
That is a 13.
That's a 13.
So that is a fail.
You're able to feel as one of your orcish tusks cracks, and a small chip comes off and clinks into the blood that is on the stone.
As Nobody is coughing up blood pouring down their mask, they look up, their dark robes and clothing draping over them, heavy with sweat and blood, and tries to get a perspective on where they are.
Okay, not a problem. So the next question that I had lined up is, again, badly wounded, but still definitely in the fight. Do you let these injuries overtake you, or do you pull yourself back to your feet?
I pull myself back to my feet, ready to continue the fight.
Okay. As you, again, your vision kind of blurred, you're seeing two of everything as you blink and you come back to, and this darkness that like enveloped you begins to as rapidly your vision returns to you, and you're able to hear screams. You're able to hear thousands of screams echoing all around you. Screams of joy, screams of elation. Nobody. Your vision blackened by such an incredible hit. You're able to return to your feet and see thousands of screaming fans surrounding you in the stands. Some people are clutching their head in their hands, watching their bets against you slip away. Some people are hugging their seat neighbors, overjoyed that you aren't out of the fight, like they can smell their winnings around the corner, going, yes, yes, going absolutely crazy. Nobody. You are currently in the food chain, the same fight that Delilah and Hardjack Eter are now spectators in. An arena whose topography changes with each fight. You have seen dozens of environments over the last few months, ranging from deserts to forests to ocean battles, but today you are on a hard stone altar at the center of rough, jagged rock. Standing before you is a Zorn. like you blink a few times and you realize that like you were seeing double, you were seeing two of the monster, but as your vision comes to and you stop seeing double, the extra appendages on this monster do not go away, as it is a three-armed, three-legged abomination with an eye at the center of its chest and a mouth on the top of its torso head. It's about 12, maybe 13 feet tall as it rapidly begins approaching you again.
All right.
What do you do?
Important question.
Yes.
How many key points do I have at this point?
We're going to say that you have half key points.
Okay. What is the terrain around me? Is it just a flat stone, or are there like peaks reaching up above where this Zorn would be running at me?
I'm gonna do a quick luck check. Let's see if you get above an 11. You are able to notice that there are 4 pillars, so it's a square base, like, platform, maybe about 20 feet long, maybe like 15 feet wide, and you're able to see there are, like, columns that are supposed to support, like, it's basically like a mock destroyed temple with these columns stretching up to a roof that isn't there. So, like, these columns, like, overlooking everything.
All right. I would like to run to one of the pillars and begin to climb it and try to flit onto the Zorn's back.
Okay, excellent. Give me a quick, I will say it can be an acrobatics check or an attack roll, whatever you'd prefer.
Okay, this is going to be an acrobatics check. That is a 19 plus 5 for a 24.
Not a 20 fucking 4. You are able to watch as this Zorn 3 legs begins like trotting over to you as a massive fist. It cracks stone where you were once standing a second before, as you're able to, and you're able to ascend up almost like no-armed, like firemen's, like climbing up this pillar, as you're then able to, and for just a moment, everything goes still as you're back, as like, let's imagine we're looking down right now. You are laying flat in the air, the Zorn's snapping mouth right below you, as you're able to hear, as Delilah, you are able to hear, "That's right, folks, nobody is going to become nothing if they don't do something," as you are able to hear the All-Seer, the commentator of the food chain, begin to narrate the fight as it happens. As Nobody, you're able to, everything comes back to speed, backflip and land with your feet as you're pressing open the Zorn's mouth as it tries to, as its tongue like licks up your legs. What do you do?
Ew.
Could I do an attack roll using the hands of harming to grab the tongue and try to rip it out?
Oh, yeah. So you would remember that the food chain is a non-lethal fight.
Yes.
But if you would like to violate those rules and try to rip out the tongue, you definitely can.
Would ripping out the tongue kill this? Can I discern that?
Well, philosophy argues whether or not Zorns are truly alive in the first place, but go ahead and make an attack roll for me.
Okay. This would be an unarmed strike, yes?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. That is a 13.
A 13 exactly hits the Zorn. AC is not that high, as you are able to... Okay, so describe to me as you rip out this Zorn's tongue, what do you do?
I reach in and kind of wind the tongue around my wrist and pull as I expend a key point to also use the Hands of Harming to deal additional necrotic damage as I plant my feet and pull as hard as I can.
Like you are starting a living lawnmower. You are ripping the tongue out of this Zorn as it, as one of its only other senses besides like taste and feel is removed from it as blood begins filling its mouth. As you're able to hear the All-Seer say, "We're gonna have to consult the rules lawyers on that one, folks. Definitely trend the line. Yar, what do you think?"
Approved. Combat.
acceptable. As you are able to, Delilah, you're able to look up to the spectators booth, and not only are you able to see like a 50-year-old, very attractive woman with 2 platinum coins instead of eyes, but right next to her, a 6.5 feet tall black iron warforged with like gold lining and a little pirate hat, as it seems like they are the commentators of this fight. As you rip that tongue out, the crowd goes crazy. Again, Nobody, you know what's on the line here. 30-1 odds. And as you look down at the Zorn, you're like it's missing like one of its pinky fingers. It's missing some scales. Like its eye is like kind of like bloated. And thank you, Jason, for the follow. Deeply appreciate it. And you know that winning this fight would mean tremendous wealth for you. Okay?
Yes.
Absolutely awesome. We're gonna get
Yes.
back to you. We're gonna get back to you in just 1 second. All right?
All right.
Okay. How's that for an introduction? You doing good so far?
Doing good.
Perfect. Absolutely awesome. Going back
Jesus
over.
Christ.
Hey, Cecilia requested I want to be a pit fighter, and I was like, hell yeah, man. Hell yeah, let's rock. But
That was
yes.
fucking crazy.
Yes, truly, Nobody, one of the most badass they-thems I've ever had the pleasure for DMing for, so absolutely love it.
Now, before we continue, can I make one roll?
Oh, yeah, what's up?
Can I roll for if Mitzi exists in this universe?
Who?
And the song she has a
Mitsuki.
song titled Nobody. And I want to be able to be like, nobody, nobody. So can I please roll for if that would make sense in this universe?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead and roll 2d. You know what? Actually, both of you roll 2d20. If you get a nat 20, that
Okay.
song exists in this world.
Nope.
God damn it, no.
No.
Nope. Okay.
rolled
Well,
12.
don't worry. We'll do that every
Nice.
day until you guys eventually get a nat 20. So,
I will invent the song.
Delilah, as you move forward, and you try to sit right in front of Hardjacketer, wondering what the hell's going on here, you are able to hear a voice speak from the spot that you try to sit in, as the voice goes, "Seat's taken. I'm sorry I didn't make myself clear." And you're able to hear, like a rippling ink blot sound effect. Emerging out from invisibility, like a natural feature of his species, you are able to see a rare species. It's known as an octopode. It has a Caucasian humanoid appearance with like a hint of red to his skin, like he's been sunburned and it's starting to fade. He has a bald head with a well-trimmed black beard and mustache and inky black eyes. No pupils, no irises, no nothing. From the waist up, a well-dressed presentation, a withered white dress shirt buttoned up with the sleeves rolled up, a brown leather vest, and a pocket watch chain to one of the pockets in the front. But from the waist down, that's what you notice first, as he has no pants, no legs, no feet, but 8 huge octopus tentacles that are the size of 8 human legs, each with like white spotted, like red leather skin on top, and a white underbelly beneath them with dozens and dozens of like suction cups lining them. Okay?
Okay.
As he immediately looks to you and goes, "Yeah, you might have to find your own seat." And he kind of like turns around and goes like, "Hardjack, you find someone else?" And Hardjack goes, "I got no idea who this harlot might be, but it seems like she's trying to sit on ya."
Harlot, I'm just trying to find a seat. Damn.
Immediately Hardjack goes, "Well, what are you doing here then? Clearly a private meeting with me and only a couple thousand of my closest friends."
I'm sorry, do you fucking own this stadium? Oh my god, they probably do.
You want to know who you think I don't own? The name's Hardjack Eater, daughter of Thothod Eater the 24th.
The 24th? How much do you need?
I was breaking the tradition because I refused to be named Thothod like my grandfather and grandmother before me.
Did you choose your name?
That's
did you
right,
pop
I
out of the
did.
womb and say, no, 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 no?
Hmm?
Did you pop out of the womb and say, no, 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 no?
It wasn't
I'm
until
gonna be different.
much later in me dwarven life that I learned that I wanted to be a strong and powerful, independent woman.
You know what? I respect that. Anyone can change at any time.
Give
you
me a
define who you are.
Give me a persuasion check.
That is a dirty... No, that is a 17.
With a 17, Kenneth Ward interjects and goes, as wonderful as this conversation is. By the way, looks to you, Delilah, and goes, my name is Kenneth Ward, and it's a pleasure to meet you. As you can see, Hardjack Atur. I believe this meeting was private, but it seems that you and Hardjack are having longer conversations than I've seen Hardjack have in a while. But sadly, unless your business concerns, and he kind of like whispers and goes, Cowrie Shadrack, I don't think this would be relevant to you.
Well, maybe it does. Have you ever considered that?
He looks at you with a cool, calm, cold demeanor and goes, I'm not trying to be hostile. I'm just letting you know that this is going to be private business unless you would have something to contribute.
Listen, I can go, but if you're trying to find Cowrie, I'm probably the one person who can find her. However, if you want me to leave, I can leave.
Kenneth looks back. He pulls out a small book.
Sorry, not her.
Oh, what?
I used the wrong pronoun.
Oh, to who?
For Cowrie, I said her.
Oh, no, not a problem at all. But hey, good correction. Kenneth Ward pulls out a small book from a bag. The book looks like too big to fit in the bag, but he pulls a whole book out, starts flipping through, and goes. He looks you up and down. I'm gonna do a quick history check for Kenneth Ward, real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. He looks down and he goes. There was an incident concerning, Cowrie Shadrack in the Battle of the Bards, the sonic detonation that happened. But before that, there was interference from someone who caught the attention of Yasa 6 spirals. And he kind of looks at your armor and looks at the bow on your back and goes, were you present at the Battle of the Bards?
I was so present that I ended up under the rubble, yeah.
His eyebrows kind of furrow a little bit, and Hardjack goes, you look great for someone that died!
Thank you, maybe I should do it more often.
Kenneth goes, morbid comment, moving on. If that is the case, would you say that you are familiar with Cowrie Shadrack then?
Yes.
Interesting. Hardjack, I think we may have found an additional piece of this puzzle. What was your name again?
Delilah.
Delilah. Have a seat, please.
Can I sit where I was gonna sit before?
I will.
Or...
I can fit into any space where my beak can fit. Don't ask where it is, but I can kind of squish up and make some room for you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Of course. As he gets kind of smaller, moves aside, and you are able to sit down if you wish to.
I will sit down, sure.
Okay. You sit down, and you have a small little meeting between Kenneth Ward, Hardjack, and Delilah. Cecilia, we're cutting back over to you.
All right.
Tongue ripped out. It is close to going down. The Zorn gets one more attack before you are able to attack it back. 3 arms coming your way. A 3, a 4.
Damn.
And a 4. Cecilia, describe how nobody is able to seamlessly dodge 3 giant fists trying to punch you off of its mouth as you're propping it open.
As I'm on the back of the Zorn and the large tendrils come up to try to swat at me, I slip down the side, dodging it as it pummels its own back underneath right in front of where its eye would be.
Right underneath where its eye would be. You are able to, like, it's as if you are, like, sliding down a rope that is made of bricks as these, like, rough, like, earthen spikes are, like, cutting into your skin as you're right there next to the eye. Nobody, what do you do?
I'm going to take its own tongue and non-lethally, smack it right in the eye.
Okay, give me an attack roll real quick.
Okay. And this would be a improvised weapon?
This would be an improvised weapon, yes.
Which I do... 5.
You got a 5. Okay. A 5 is not going to cut it, sadly. As you wind back and try to, like, punch in, like, slash in with this tongue, you're able to watch an almost translucent film blink and cover the eye, like have some kind of, like, reptiles have, like, dual eyelids, and your attack, sadly, like, it sticks, it, like, cuts into this, like, almost like secondary cornea, but sadly does not find purchase in a place deep enough to take this creature out of the battle. Do you have any additional attacks?
Yes, then I would like to use my last key point.
Okay.
To flurry of blows and strike it twice unarmed in an attempt to knock it out.
Okay, go right ahead.
First roll is a 10.
Okay.
No, I assume.
AC of 13.
Another 10.
Oh god. So are you trying to go for the eye again?
Yes.
Again, it just fully blinks as you're trying to punch directly into this thing's most sensitive area, as you're able to hear the all-seer goes, "Rule number 1 of pirating, folks, always protect your sensitive bits." As sadly, is that your turn, or would you like to try to move away? What do you want to do?
That would be my turn. I will stay up close and personal.
Okay, not a problem. 3 grapple attacks coming your way as you are on this thing's torso. Actually, wait. Give me an opposed athletics check. We're gonna do something because it's a grapple.
Athletics check.
Yep.
Is a 5.
With a 5, it got an 18 on the die. You were able to feel one of these massive hands come over and grab you by one of your legs and hold you upside down, so that your face and its eye are directly level. As this hand moves you to the top of its head and lets you go to have you fall into the mouth to be potentially eaten alive. I need a dexterity saving throw. It's going to be a DC 13.
13 on the dot.
13
8 plus
on
5.
You are back in the exact same position you were in earlier, but in a much more precarious way, as this time, when you fall, your hands go to the top lip, your feet go to the bottom lip, as you can feel you're doing like a full body press, as you're holding this thing's jaw open to avoid it snapping you potentially in half. All right, that being its turn, what do you do? We're back to you.
I would like to push off with my hands to try to stand back up and then just kick it to get it to stop.
Okay, you want to kick it to get it to stop.
Yeah.
Give me a quick acrobatics check.
Okay. Acrobatics is a 12.
Give me 1 second. Holy shit, with a nat 1 on the die, give me that with advantage. As this thing accidentally punches itself in the face.
Nice.
That is a rolled 9 for 14.
Okay, with a 14, you are able to kick off of this thing's lower lips, do a full handspring, and spin in midair so that you are facing this thing as you are dropping it down to its level. Go ahead and give me your attack rolls.
All right. 7.
Kate, you've infected her with your bad rolls.
What dice are you using?
The ones that you've gifted me.
Really? The really pokey ones?
Yeah, the gem ones that you got me a while back.
It's okay. It's okay. We got
I
infected
did?
a little bit better.
Yes.
Okay.
I also gave you like thorn ones.
Yes, I will get those.
Yeah, get those. Maybe those have better energy. We'll see. We'll see. So you are able to plummet down, try to go for a kick towards its eye, and then land onto the stone. And as like you're still within this thing's threatened area, but you're looking up at it now as you're on ground level. This like massive 13, 15 foot tall Zorn above you, 3 hands like ready to rip you apart, basically. As you're able to hear the All-Seer go. Ladies and gentlemen watching in the stands, I know I'm not supposed to take sides here, but nobody stop going for the eye. It doesn't like that, does it? With that, do you have anything else you want to do on your turn?
That is all I can do.
Okay, we are back to the Zorn then. The Zorn's gonna make a stomp attack towards you. Okay, nat 1.
Thank God.
Cecilia, please describe to me how nobody avoids this stomp attack.
As the stomp comes down, nobody would continue to backpedal to get more space between them, so that they can size up the Zorn and figure out a good way to actually finish the fight.
Okay, got it. This tri-legged being tries to. You're able to watch again. You are such an experienced pit fighter that you're able to look, or like just arena fighter basically. You're able to look and see that this thing's tri-legs. It's not balanced on its backside, and it's so full of anger and adrenaline that as it kicks off to try to slam its foot down in an area of effect, it pushes off too hard and goes and lands directly on its back, knocking itself prone. That is the remainder of its turn. Cecilia, what is nobody doing?
Okay, nobody is going to draw the quarterstaff and sprint full tilt, holding the quarterstaff like a baseball bat and taking a full swing non-lethally.
Okay.
Ow, 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 ow.
Go ahead. Ow, ow, ow.
Okay. That is a 16.
A 16. Okay.
Spiky.
Nobody
very spiky die.
Straight from Yasa's pit herself. Quarterstaff in hand. You're able to. You are running on the body of the Zorn as you're able to hear guys go, "We're eating tonight! We're eating!" As you're about to make a lot of people very, very happy with their winnings. As you're rushing up, describe to me this being that does not have a head. It almost does not have any kind of like external parts besides like the arms and the legs. How do you knock out this Zorn with one fell crack from your quarterstaff?
I would aim between the eye and the mouth, where I assume the softest tissue would be to hit a pressure point.
Absolutely fucking excellent. As you are able to, again, your monk, your speed, you're able to jump, plant your quarter. This thing is, as its two arms again, kind of like pushing itself up like backwards. As you're able to jump, again, it's the small impact point, quarterstaff right in that soft tissue, and with all of your weight, overpower the strength of its two arms, make the fingers slip, and make the torso crack into the stone, causing just like cracks and damage to the bricks underneath it, as suddenly the entire crowd goes silent. And nobody, you stand there atop the Zorn as you're able to watch its eye go as it rolls back into its head as the Zorn has been defeated. In this moment, there is silence in the admiration of your victory. What do you do in this moment?
I would probably spit more blood out of my mouth from my cracked tusk.
All right, you a glob of blood. You're really not doing well. Is there anything else? Any acknowledgement, or is it just business?
Raising the quarterstaff, acknowledging the crowd.
Raising the quarterstaff, acknowledging the crowd. Yeah! Ladies and gentlemen, another food chain battle. Well, we found where people place in the circle of life. Nobody with their 15th consecutive victory. I must say, an excellent addition to the roster. Yar, anything to say?
I will say I am impressed by their prowess.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Yar, and perhaps we'll be seeing nobody in the hotel room later tonight. Oh, but that's a conversation for another day. Everybody, I have been the All-Seer.
And I have been Yar.
And this has been another wonderful food chain battle. You all have a pleasant night, everybody, and make sure to treat the bookies with a little bit of respect. Good night! Yeah! As applause goes out everywhere. As Nobody, you are able to hear as the stone floor of this temple, of this like mock temple, begins to open up and an elevator is revealed, as you're then able to hear as like a makeshift like dumbbell elevator begins to be raised up towards the center stone platform. And we're gonna cut back to you in a little bit, okay? All right. Cutting back to the conversation between Kenneth Ward, Delilah, and Hard Jacketer. Kenneth Ward speaks first. Delilah, you're able to hear this as Kenneth Ward says, Hard Jack, in all honesty, I understand that you're perturbed. And perhaps having Delilah, was it?
Yes.
Perhaps having Delilah here may soften the blow a bit, but I sadly have to decline the offer. Although a limitless penthouse and an unlimited tab within the Wealth Temple is appealing, a lifelong subscription to the Diamond Club can't give me my life back. I understand that you want your grandfather's loot back, and you want me to kill Cowrie Shadrack. But you don't want me to kill Cowrie Shadrack because Cowrie Shadrack doesn't roll alone. Cowrie Shadrack has a crew, a loyal crew. And so you want me to go after Cowrie Shadrack's crew. But you don't want me to go after Cowrie Shadrack's crew because every pirate here is going after Cowrie and Cowrie Shadrack's crew, meaning that I'll have to go up against every single pirate in the Arbor, in the Well, in Western Waters. And if you're asking me to kill every pirate in Western Waters, well, gold's no good if you can't spend it. So sadly, I must decline. You are then able to hear Hardjack say, "Oh, come on, Ken. You can't imagine that Cowrie Shadrack has that many allies just roaming around. Let's be honest here. We just found another one walking up trying to sit on your fucking lap 5 minutes ago." The battle is still going on at this point, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Delilah, anything to contribute?
So Delilah in her head, she's pretty confident that, like, yeah, everyone's after Cowrie, but, like, she's gonna be the one to get her. Like, she feels very self-assured, especially because she has been given so many advantages by Yasa, especially, like, being able to, like, teleport and move a little faster and have, these ways of finding Cowrie quicker and also knowing Cowrie and the crew. So she's kind of listening, and she's like, honestly, it does, like, the guy makes a good point. Like, yeah, you'd have to fight everyone off as well. But for her, she's like, that doesn't apply to her. So she's like, yeah, you should probably drop out. But for her, she's like, it doesn't matter to me.
Excuse me. Hardjacketer burps. Give me a quick deception roll as you say to Kenneth Ward, stop looking. Essentially.
I would more, instead of saying stop looking, I would more kind of be like, yeah, that's a good point. You'd have to face a lot of people.
Okay.
You probably wouldn't get her.
Give me a deception roll.
Get them. Fuck. Deception is 13.
With a 13, Kenneth Ward rolled an 18 on the die with a +7 to insight. And Kenneth Ward looks at you and goes, he kind of like squints and goes, well, that's an interesting reaction. That's not something someone would say if they think they had no chance. What What do you know?
I know what I need to know.
You know what you need to know. I've been around long enough to know that there's always more you need to know. Do you think you have a chance? At Cowrie, I mean.
I don't think it's a matter of chance. I think, I feel pretty confident. You know.
I appreciate your confidence. Hardjack! That deal. The penthouse, unlimited tab, diamond club, high rollers. What do we say we split up the shares? And Kenneth Ward kind of like stands up on his tentacles just a little bit, just to be a little bit taller than you, Delilah, and kind of looks down and goes, what if there was an agreement? A unified front against Cowrie. That be agreeable?
An agreement of what kind?
Hardjack says,
The kind where, if everything goes well, and if I'm to get me grandfather's loot back and Cowrie Shadrack's in the ground, everybody can retire here, everyone will be able to have a wonderful life, free of any kind of anxiety. A fresh start, if you will.
Sorry, I'm trying to think about how to phrase. See, the way I see it, you want Cowrie gone, I want Cowrie gone. I am going to make sure Cowrie gets what they deserve, regardless of any reward you give me. So if you're offering a reward, if we're going to team up, material wealth and comfort and luxury aren't necessarily my price. I'm more interested in safety and protection and secrecy. If you can offer me that, then yeah, I'll do it for you. I'll team up with whoever you want me to team up with. Otherwise, maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't.
Kenneth Ward looks to you. Octopode figure Ken says, not interested in money, but motivated by morality, by safety for everyone. Cowrie made a mistake and should pay, correct?
Sorry, I don't think I was clear. I'm interested in this vast stuff again. I meant my own safety, as in, were someone to be coming after me, or were I need protecting and somewhere to lay low, somewhere I can stay and receive protections, I could be offered safety at a moment's notice.
Hardjack chimes in and goes,
If it's safety you're looking for, I can guarantee that the Eter Muscle are some of the most determined brawlers out there. One of the most determined security forces within the Palm that can rival even the Thoros. So I can say that if that would be your price, I'd be happy to pay it. My family would be happy to pay it, as long as I get the loot, and Cowrie can be yours.
Yeah, I can agree on that. Sounds like we got a deal.
Ken steps up again and goes, interesting. True. But we have the ranged. We have the stealth. Points to Hardjack and goes, we have the money. I think we're in desperate need of... And at this point, the fight has concluded. The Zorn knocked out the elevator coming up the shaft and points out towards the center of the arena and goes, I think we're in need of muscle next, correct?
I mean, if you don't think this is enough, then I guess.
Give me an athletics check.
A 6!
Ken looks over and goes, I don't have bones and I have bigger biceps than you.
All right.
Do you want to get into a flexing contest with an octopus? We can arm wrestle right now if you would like.
No. I'll pass.
You have spared me the embarrassment of a loss. Thank you. All right. All right. Well, why don't we go have a private chat? Hardjack, if you're all right with me taking control of the conversation, why don't we go and have a private chat with the talent, with that nobody down there? That sound like a plan?
Do I get to come along?
Well, it wouldn't be a team if you wouldn't.
All right. Lead the way.
Of course. Luckily, I do know the owner. So please, follow me. And as you guys begin to move, Ken begins to snake you guys like down through the overall Coliseum, like into like different like service tunnels essentially, down like into the subterranean depths. Hardjack following behind, and Delilah. Any initial thoughts about Kenneth Ward or Hardjack Couture?
Kenneth is too level-headed and respectful.
That is the same fucking thing that everybody else said. Yes, okay, got it. All right.
Like, everyone has an angle, and this guy's like, oh, you just insulted me. That's okay. Like,
Okay.
he's too, like, it's more unsettling because it means that he's not controlled by emotion. You know? It's kind of like, okay.
Congratulations,
right.
Kate. You have immediately read this man for filth. You have immediately clocked everything about him. Cecilia.
Yes.
Nobody still there on the on this this mock temple as this elevator and reaches the top. You are able to notice 6 GIF animal tamers begin to rush off of this elevator over to the Zorn and begin tying ropes and chains around it and begin and begin pulling it towards the elevator. But you are able to notice one GIF figure that is not doing any manual labor. You'd be able GIF, if you were unaware, is like hippo people, yes. Basically. A big hunting pistol at her side, almost looks like an admiral's uniform. Like, again, at least maybe 600, 700 pounds. Very dense, strong, thick-skinned, like like humanoid hands, hippo, kind of like studded feet with a giant hippo head, walking up to you. And you'd be able to recognize this as the person that offered you this fighting career within the food chain. And her name is Ophia Wheelcell. As she walks up to you and goes,
Nobody. I must say, I am incredibly impressed by your performance. What victory are we on again? Is this 15 or 16? I am happy to say I have lost count.
Well, I've also lost count too now, Ophia.
Oh, I sometimes forget how wonderful your voice is.
Now, Curry, please get out of the sun. It's making me laugh.
We absolutely may. Lights!
And again, this entire Colosseum is internal, is inside of the temple, as you guys are able to hear as it like artificial torches are extinguished, as the blazing heat of this artificial mock temple is suddenly evaporated as these torches begin to go out all along the Colosseum as it begins shutting down for the evening.
All right.
Ophia then hands you a superior potion of healing, which will heal you back to full HP.
All right.
And
I
goes,
will
Now,
chug that bitch.
customary, let's have a drink, but I will abstain. Here we go.
Thank you. And I just immediately lift up the Raven mask a little and just down the entire thing. One sip.
You lift up what?
The Raven mask, ceramic mask. That
Yes.
nobody wears.
You lift up the ceramic mask. You're able to chug all of it. As Ophia looks over and goes,
The next,
and walks over to the elevator. As you basically, if you wish to walk, she goes,
walk with me. I can take you to your room.
Of course.
All right.
I'll follow if yeah.
walks onto the elevator next to the Zorn. And as the elevator begins to take everybody down into the subterranean levels, down to the kennels of the food chain where the animals are stored. Ophia just begins talking business and goes,
I was thinking that the next battle could either be against a Cerberus or against a Hydra, like a wyvern with multiple heads. Which do you think you would fare better against?
Don't you think that it's a bit much to be putting me after that extremely grueling fight against creatures with multiple heads?
Why?
she puts a
Where do you-
mat. What's up?
Where do we even get these animals? Are they sourced well?
If you were to read the documentation provided to all who attend the well fights, and as well as within the contract that you signed with the Wheelso family, you would know that all of these animals are here by their own volition, and that is why it is non-lethal. Why would we possibly execute creatures that are serving us well?
Fair enough. I won't push you further on.
All right, give me a quick insight check.
That is where's my insight? 11.
An 11, she got a nat 1. Obviously lying. This is the PR spiel.
That's so funny.
First of all, and I'll say with the nat 1, again, it's been good money coming in. Now, she's still charging you for the room, so you don't have a bunch stored up, but it's been a slow acclimation of gold. But you would know two things. One, these animals are definitely not here on their own volition. You're able to look over and see that this Zorn is its breathing is just too fast, and you realize that this Zorn has probably been given some kind of stimulant to make it aggressive, to make it want to fight. And number two, you've never seen a Zorn before. You have no idea where this thing possibly could have come from. You are currently on an island, all of the species of which are maybe larger versions of frogs and birds, but nothing this dangerous. So you have no idea. So, but obviously a lie.
Yes. Alright, well, I won't push you further, What were you saying?
What I was saying before is that with that potion, I believe that tooth you spit out has already regrown. You're back in fighting condition.
Basically, maybe, but it still takes a toll on the stamina lines.
Give me a quick persuasion roll.
Persuasion 8.
With an 8,
Girl.
Ophia walks up.
Trying.
Ophia walks up to you. She puts a massive GIF hand on your it's you're a half orc. You're not a small figure. It's your entire shoulder and part of your part of your bicep, tricep, and goes,
You're right. I was foolish. Take the evening to yourself.
Thank you.
Of course.
You guys are walking through the kennels as this conversation is happening. And as you come to like a main break area, with all of where like the gift, like animal trainers, like animal tamers, give me a quick perception check just as you're walking through the kennels, or a nature check. I'll allow both, or either.
I believe perception and nature are. Oh, perception is better.
Okay,
5.
that is a 5. I'm gonna do a quick stealth roll.
20.
What is going on with my rolls? That's a nat 1, which means I can give you
Oh my
something.
The fourth nat 1.
Something's wrong. I'm switching out my d20s at the break. You are able to look over and you say, like, again, these animals do have to be kept in cages. Even with what you learned of like, oh, like these animals not fighting on their like own volition. They're still dangerous if left to their natural devices. Again, there are some prey animals in here that would probably be eaten by the predator animals. But for just a moment, as you are like walking out like towards like main break area, just like the usual route you take to get back to the feast temple, to like get back to the actual hotel rooms offered here, you are able to see these like long, almost like sharp, bony fingers like peer through. Like poke through like out of what looks like almost just complete shadow and grip onto the bars of like one of these cages, and you are able to watch as a head turns 180 degrees around and looks directly at you, eyes open wide, and again, you're able to see like these like huge like the white out, like whatever the fucking white part of eyes are called, and like just these black voids, as you're able to notice a small again, it's probably the same size as like your raven crow mask. What is it again?
A raven mask.
A craven mask?
Or raven mask. I started saying crow and then I remembered it is
You're all
raven.
good. It's probably the same size as like your raven mask. You're able to see a beak poke through the gaps between the bars, and you're able to hear, and you're able to notice this like chained figure that you've never seen fight before, but you'd be able to recognize it as a Kipine, an owl human hybrid creature.
A Kipon?
Kipine.
Kipine.
Yep, Kipine.
All right, that is terrifying.
Okay. It looks, its eyes, the white part disappears as its pupils go, as its pupils overtake all of its eyes as it tries to like lock in with you, but you're just too far away for this effect to take place. As it almost sounds like sad that it could not connect with you, but you are sadly escorted. Unless you wish to interact with it more, you will be escorted out.
No, I would probably take an extra step away from it as I continue walking.
Ophia goes,
Excellent choice. That is Fred, and he has a tendency to make people vomit.
Wonderful.
You walk into this break room along with Ophia, and standing there, kind of like walking through the entrance, Nobody, you are able to see an octopode figure, a dwarven figure, and then a halfling with horns, as this octopode figure begins speaking and says, Ophia, I'm so happy to be back. I missed you. As Ophia goes,
Ken, how wonderful to see you.
As Nobody, you're able to lock eyes with this halfling ranger with horns. And we're gonna take a very quick break. Sound good?
All
Yes,
right.
I have to pee.
Okay, got it. We all having fun so far?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, killer. We're gonna get to the meeting after the break. Everyone, take 5 minutes. We're just gonna run an ad real quick. So everybody, hope you're having a good time. And can't wait to see you soon. Peace out, guys.
All right.
And we are back. Alrighty. Ready to rock and roll. Also, we got Kate in the chat. What's up, Kate? Hello. Welcome. And we hope you have a great time. Okay. So we hop right back in this private meeting area with a table surrounded by. Let me know if I get everybody. I'm gonna do the NPCs first. Kenneth Ward, Hardjack Atur, Ophia Wheelso. And then also, Nobody and Delilah. Candle lit, a map of the palm and the fist splayed out on the table. As Kenneth Ward, first things first, very, very important. Kenneth Ward goes over. Actually, no, wait. Hardjack Atur goes to Ophia, as they would be buddies, and goes.
What is their first name?
Hardjack.
Hardjack.
It's Hardjack. It's Hardjack as one word.
Hardjack.
Exactly.
And then last name?
Itur. Itur.
Okay, thank you.
Hardjack Atur goes up to Ophia and goes,
Ophia, we're gonna cut to the chase, we are. We're looking to kill Cowrie Shadrack and take back the loot that is my father's stolen wrongfully at the Battle of the Bards. Are you willing to join us on this quest?
And Ophia Wheelso very quickly says,
No, I am not going to do that in the slightest.
Coward.
Bitch, what?
What? I coughed.
not one. Are you fucking for real? Are you fucking for real? Ophia just goes,
I understand. With all the hay, allergies can be bad in here. I'm sorry. I thought I heard something else.
No, I just have something stuck in my throat. It's okay. I forgive you.
Okay. Well,
because Hardjack goes, no, I'll say it. What I heard in that cough, it came from the gods. Ophia, you're being the coward you are. Why would you say no to this? The ways in which they have wronged you by not letting you do whatever you want to them. How could you? What kind of woman are you? And Ophia says back,
I specifically paid them to not interfere with my business, and they have not had any infractions against me so far. I was speaking to a man named Tior Fedorov, and he explained their...
And like she kind of stifles herself because she doesn't want to give too much away. And she says,
their paths are ones of destruction. Obliteration for any who stand in their way. It is not my place to be in the middle of it. I apologize, but sadly, Wheelso Muscle and Wheelso Wealth will not be able to assist you in this quest.
Well, I guess we can't make you. That's fine.
May I ask who these fine group of people are, Ophia?
Sorry, you were talking to me.
oh, no, what's up?
No, go ahead.
I want to hear what you're going to say, though.
Oh, I was gonna say, do you mean the people here? Or do you mean
Yeah.
the people we're talking about?
Both would be a great indication.
Okay. Hi, I'm Delilah. What's your name? We're gonna kill some
Nobody.
people together. We should probably get that out of the way.
Why are we killing them? I say, awkwardly shaking her hand.
Don't you fight people, like, for a
No.
living?
Non-lethally?
Okay, you don't have to do the killing. We can do that. We just need, like, your skills, you know?
Alright.
But you're not forced to
Nobody.
do this. If you don't want to, you don't have to.
Well, it sounds like, and I point to Ophia, that Ophia doesn't want us to help now.
Hey,
But-
whoa. Do you do what Ophia tells you to do, or do you do what you want to?
Well, I have an agreement with Ophia, but I haven't heard much on my side of the agreement, and I kind of nudge Ophia.
Ophia's going to make a very quick maturity roll.
Ah!
Ophia looks to you, Nobody, and with a bit of a smirk goes,
technically, contractually speaking, you are not a member of the Wheelso family, and therefore, what you do outside of the obligation you have to the Wealth Temple and to the food chain is no reflection on myself.
Well, alright then. I may be interested in your proposition. What was it, Delilah?
Oh, well, so I'm doing this just for my own reasons. But as for what you would get out of it, you should talk to this nice lady over here. And I gestured a hard Chuck.
4 feet
Alright,
tall, bearded dwarven woman looks over and goes, "You got muscle on ya!"
I kind of look down and just at the very baggy clothes, like, sure.
I just saw you knock out the hill with 3 arms and 3 legs.
Fair enough. What is your proposition? Hardjack, was it?
Kenneth steps up and goes, "Hardjack, if I may." And Kenneth Ward reaches into his bag. You're able to see that his bag, it's like a usual like leather satchel. He reaches all the way down up to his elbow, like way past where the bottom of the bag should go, and pulls out a clump of papers. And walks over to a nearby wooden support post in this like planning room. And Ophia goes,
I am going to excuse myself before I betray previous agreements.
and if either of you want her to stay, you can make persuasion checks. Or due to previous session things, Ophia is going to walk out of the room.
Bye!
Okay.
Well, she just said I'm not under contractual obligation to stay here, so.
Okay. Quickly, just like rushing into the room, another GIF comes over. Looks like a white robe, kind of like a medical personnel, comes over and says like,
Ophia, it's we need to talk.
and Ophia goes like they kind of like speak in GIF to each other like hippo speak. And Ophia goes,
I must go, but happy hunting.
and Ophia. And Ophia rushes out of the kennels, out of this like little meeting room, and shuts the door behind her. As now it is a room with Nobody, Hardjacketer, Delilah, and Kenneth Ward. Kenneth Ward begins putting up the wanted posters of each of the members of Moach. And he goes down the list and he says, first of all, he stabs up Cowrie and goes, Cowrie Shadrack. No introduction needed. Blew up the Battle of the Bards, caused untold destruction, looks at Delilah, literally killed you, if your story is correct.
Yes.
All right.
I went to hell, yeah.
He looks you up and down and goes, like, metaphorically, like, literally?
No, I went to real hell. It was okay.
Well, that's something you don't hear every day. How long ago did Delilah get back from hell?
About
Like,
24
a
hours.
few days.
Yeah, like 36 hours maybe.
So would probably still like reek of sulfur.
Yeah. So the sixth circle of hell is more like a barren desert mountainous wasteland.
Gotcha.
So Delilah, like, has Delilah had a bath or has gone to like any of the Love Temple spas?
Well, yeah, she probably went to a spa.
Okay.
But I will say she's probably just a little sandy all the time now that she's kind of teamed up with Yasa. Like, no matter what she does, she's still a little sandy everywhere.
Okay.
Like, she'll reach into her pockets, there's always gonna be some sand.
Hardjack's like, you look incredibly uncomfortable. Like you just came back from the beach.
I'm fine.
Wanna.
She's like walking like she has poop in her pants, but it's just sand. You know, like kids, how like they'll sit on like the sand on the shore and just stand up and have like a soggy little like poop turd, but of sand.
Yeah.
A little bit. She's got that a little bit.
Delilah's just like saying all this out loud, and Ken goes, ignoring all of that, back to the...
Hey, you guys invited me here.
Jack and Ken look at each other. Ken's like, it's okay. Ken then puts up another bounty poster. You guys are able to notice this is a human, thinner appearance, dirt on his face. You're able to notice brown, scraggly hair, with almost like animalistic, like an animalistic like nose, like some teeth. And you're able to notice, Ken says, this is Mud. Incredibly aggressive, incredibly foolish, driven by morality. Again, the remainder of these individuals, Cowrie Shadrack being worth 10,000, the remainder of these individuals will be worth 5,000 gold apiece. Nothing more than a wild animal, incredibly aggressive when cornered, and... I wonder who drew our portraits for the one. Whatever. We'll get into that later. We'll get into that later, Kate. I don't have the time. He goes, incredibly determined, incredibly idealistic, incredibly foolish. Definitely not the most dangerous one that we should be watching out for.
So, their name is just Mud?
Oh no, my dice. Hold on. Ken looks at you and says, most likely not. I did some investigating and realized that Mud is most likely a pseudonym given to them by Slashclaw within Tangleroot. My best approximation from their ideology is that they are either an escaped slave or perhaps someone incredibly determined against slavery, and has either given up their name or has traded their name or was given the name Mud.
Fair enough. I don't see nothing wrong with giving up a name, clearly.
Obviously. And I have questions about that, but we can get into that a little bit later.
All right.
Okay. Next on the board, he stabs a third wanted poster up and in and goes, Olivine Terraborg, also known as Olive to the remainder of the crew. This one is the one we need to watch out for. Olive is easily the most dangerous out of all four of these, and that is including the one that blew up the Battle of the Bards. Olive is dangerous in the same way that a lantern is dangerous inside of a shack full of gunpowder. I think Olive is a bad day away from some of the most destructive force that we have seen in a generation. Definitely someone we should focus on first if we see them. Water Genasi in appearance, you're able to almost always seen with a circlet with an emerald or some kind of olivine gem that would make sense in the forehead.
Funny that the Water Genasi is the one that's a spark in the fire.
Indeed. She is the only person to look me in the face and legitimately send a chill up my spine. And I don't take kindly to that.
Delilah's probably kind of impressed. Like, yeah, you know.
Now, those are the rogue variables there. However, my research has led me to believe that there has been a resurgence of a previous organization not seen in the Palm and the Fist for the last 2 years about. Spuff has reformed, at least from my approximation of it, and he takes the final 3 wanted posters and plants daggers into all 3 of them, and you're able to see an Air Genasi figure, kind of like floating hair like around her, with a big scar across her face, and Kenneth Ward points to it and goes, now I understand that this figure did not appear at the Battle of the Bards, but after the playback and identification by Yar, we were able to confirm that this figure is in fact her and is the same person. So anybody that's in chat right now that knows that her was disguised, we're just not retconning, we are moving with that, but people know that it's her, because it'd be fucked up if it was the Clumpin' cleric, just letting that be known. So
That's lumping
So-
Claret.
That's her?
yes, her name is a pronoun, but I do believe she is lying. I believe she is fully lying. Her name is not
Okay.
her. Her name is Charlotte Withers. She is currently pretending to be an amnesiac.
Charlotte Withers. AKA her.
Accusing someone of pretending to be an amnesiac is so funny. Out of game, I'm saying that.
You can
but-
say that in game. I
That's
think
so
Ken would be
funny.
fascinated by that line of questioning.
Sure, that's funny.
How so?
Oh no, I forgot. Of all the things to make your alibi, I forgot.
Well,
Jeez.
In that case, excellent you bring that up. Charlotte Withers is a completely incompetent leader who has led to the death of almost all of her friends and is currently trying to escape, not revenge, but I guess you could say karmic justice by just pretending it all didn't happen. Overall, respect her the least because of, again, commitment to ideology, but also a pointless excuse of trying to avoid her past actions. However, I think she is going to be fundamental in finding out where Cowrie is going next. Now, there are two more people we need to focus in on. As people know, he posted up a final a bounty and he says this is the SV Ramshackle, their ship. It was docked both in the well and in the arbor. Authorities are after this ship name specifically. Whether or not they have changed it, I am not sure, but I don't believe any of their leadership is smart enough to know to do that.
Rough. All right.
And is there a, description of the ship?
Yes, the ship is a sloop that is run down and completely falling apart. It is an older model of ship, maybe about 30, 40 years into the past, rotted wood, owned by one Terry Tumbledown that was then given as a way to get it off his front lawn. So the SV Ramshackle, if that is found, most likely Moch is nearby.
I'm sure there will be a
Alright.
lot of glory in finding this ship.
Indeed. Well, it isn't. It isn't exactly the wrapping. It's more about what's inside of the present. And finally, the other members of Spuff that are currently living are Rahi Liha and a madman pretending to be Hubert LaCroix.
Fuck. That's out of game. I was like, Hubert. Oh.
Rahi Liha, Asamar, commands storm magic. You'll notice her based upon her black skin, white hair, and the fact that she doesn't have eyeballs. She instead has storm clouds inside of her eyes. There was some kind of incident within the crowd of the Battle of the Bards. However, it involved Rahi and Mud in some way, but I was unable to know exactly what happened, although she did lose her powers momentarily, so maybe something to look into there. In addition to that, you also notice her by the storm cloud wings that come off of her back when she's mad, which is always. And finally, the crazy man pretending to be Hubert LaCroix. Now, some backstory on that one. Roughly between 3 and 5 years ago, accounts may vary. The in Alateur looks over to Delilah. Did you say that you were from Alateur?
Maybe. Once upon a time.
Well, if you
I've been there before.
Okay, then perhaps you heard that the youngest of the 9 LaCroix children, Sir Hubert LaCroix, went missing and has not returned. Now, some people speculate that Hubert LaCroix has taken up the moniker of Duke LaCroix, but I don't believe that a 21-year-old noble child could survive in this land for so long, and so clearly Charlotte Withers has lowered her standards so much that she is recruiting legitimately crazy people.
Hey, I wouldn't put it past her, you know?
Ken's gonna do an insight check on you, Delilah.
I was about to make a fucked up joke.
Go ahead. We gotta hear it now.
I was gonna be like, I wouldn't put it past her, you know? Women, am I right?
Delilah, I'm not going to lie to you.
I'm sorry.
I'm a cold-hearted, emotionless bastard who does anything I have to for gold. And I have to be honest, that comment has disrespected not only Hardjackateur, not only Ophia, who has walked out of the room, but it's offended me as well because I am an ally.
You know what? You're right. I should really reflect on my biases.
I couldn't agree more. Can we please have the jazz quartet yes, canonist, exactly. Can we please have the jazz band resume the music, please? All right. Any questions about any of the people here? Any information? If we are going to track down Cowrie Shadrack, knowing where they are going to go next is imperative.
Would I have any information on any of these people from living within the city?
Give me a quick history check with advantage, but don't tell me the roll just yet. Delilah, is there anything that you want to add to any of the descriptors that Ken gave? And I will say that some of the information that Ken gave is inaccurate.
I know.
Yeah.
Duke LaCroix, I'm gonna allow to be seen as a fake because I know. Doesn't he not want to be, doesn't he kind of want to be anonymous a little bit? Or am I misremembering that?
Not necessarily. There is no statement that the Duke wants to remain anonymous.
Okay.
The Duke, he changed his name to Duke LaCroix. Clearly he does not care if he is well known.
Alright. I'm trying to think about how Delilah would react, because honestly, she does not play well with others.
Okay.
And she's sitting here like, ha, he's wrong. Shit, we're on a team. I should probably say something. I'm trying to figure out where her line is of wanting, because I think she's trying to think about what is essential for her to tell them. Because in her mind, she's like, I just need to get Cowrie. Honestly, I'll fight the rest of them, or they'll feel bad if Cowrie dies. But that's about it. She's trying to yeah, Olive's pretty badass. Her's pretty cool too. And LaCroix, that's my guy. I don't think Delilah knows Mud very well. If at all.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I'm trying to think of how much she knows.
While you're thinking of what you want to say, what you want to contribute, Nobody. What was that? 14 or a 41?
14.
Okay.
14. I figured out how to show it so it looks right.
I could see your hands kind of doing little symbols. With a 14, you remember a couple months ago there was a big kerfuffle after a food chain fight, where Ophia Wheelso got personally involved with trying to capture, there's kind of talks, between the actual kennel masters. And there was some rumors going around that Ophia tried to kidnap 6 of the contestants that fought within the food chain, but they were able to best her and escape. And the rumors that one of the contestants that she tried to kidnap was actually one of her exes. So, crazy thing there.
All right. I will keep that to myself for now, unless Sophia returns to the room.
Ophia is long gone.
I think the only thing I would add would be about her.
All right.
So Delilah lets Ken kind of say his thing and says, I can't speak to her character, but I'd caution underestimating her. I think she can do more damage than you would expect.
In what way?
I'm trying to... So I spent so little time with them, so I don't know what Delilah would know.
We'll say that Kate's knowledge, Kate's and Delilah's knowledge would kind of like be coincided here. If you want to flavor it as Delilah saying it, I'm not going to say, you can't say that. Like, you know what I mean?
I have witnessed her having bouts of similar to Rahi, lightning storm, this energy that comes somewhere from inside of her. And I don't think she can control it. I don't know if she's able to control it better now, but like Rahi, she has some storm inside of her as well.
He squints his eyebrows and he looks to Nobody and says, Nobody, you're a half-orc, correct? Human bloodline along with orcish bloodline.
Yes. Human and orc.
Storm magic. Ken's putting something together in his head right now. He thinks for a moment and he says, Nobody, do you have a name, or do you just refuse to share your name?
I do have a name, but I would prefer not to share it. Ophia does know my family name. As part of our contract, she is at least presumably looking for someone that I've been missing for a while.
Kenneth Ward looks to all of you and momentarily goes, I think we need to get Ophia back in the conversation. And ink blots all over his face and all over his clothing. He goes invisible in front of all of you.
Oh.
As Kenneth Ward's...
There he goes.
As you guys are like completely silently, you're able to hear like suction cups on grass, like on ground, and you're able to hear you're able to just watch the door, and like presumably he just walks out of the room. As you're in here with Hardjack Atur. Any initial thoughts? We're gonna say Nobody. Looking at all of this, like a great amount of money for any of these people. What are your reactions to all these descriptions? Anybody stand out specifically?
The one that would stand out specifically would be Cowrie, considering the doubled bounty compared to the rest of them.
Everybody's got to hydrate. Kate has decreed it.
What?
We have a channel point rewards for hydrating.
Oh shit. Thank you.
So, Hardjack, what would be in the reward for me if I were to help you?
Hardjack kind of looks you up and down and tries to read you, and just says,
You seem to know how to fight very well. I guess I need to know what your heart,
and it kind of pokes you in the chest and goes,
what your heart most deeply desires, and that I could maybe be able to procure it for you.
Well, can you procure people who've been missing for a better part of almost 2 decades?
With the amount of money I have at my disposal, I can certainly do my best and try. If you can give me a name, I can have them start looking the moment that we leave the port to go after the Shadrack.
I would like to keep that close to my chest until I know you a bit better.
Have you ever communicated Nobody's name to me as a DM?
No, I haven't.
Do you even have the name drafted? Not a problem. I can work with that. I can work with that, baby. We're good. As Hardjack looks and goes,
Then as my honor of a cleric of the God of Gold, I can promise you right now that I shall honor this agreement and give you payment that's due.
Very well. Speaking of payment, I should probably, before we leave, I would like to check with Othea to make sure I am paid for that fight and have some pocket change before we leave.
Understood. Of course. Of course.
and Delilah, as this conversation's going on, anything else to add besides her, besides that like lightning magic stuff?
Only thing I'll say is they're a pretty tight-knit crew. So to get the Cowrie, it really is, we really would have to fight all of them, honestly. They're not going to let Cowrie, go easy.
I mean, if we're just trying to get one of them, why fight in the first place and not just nab Cowrie alone?
If we can do it secretly and discreetly, that would be ideal.
I mean, it sounds like you have a bit of experience working with this group of folks. Do you know how their watches are set up at night when they're out?
Absolutely not.
Fair enough.
They don't have them at all. So
if we want to do it discreetly, it would probably be best to find them on land rather than while they're at sea. And to do that, we would want to find out where they're going next, or where they are now.
Right.
The good news, I will say, is that I don't think they're familiar with you. They might know.
They might know me
Arjat.
from this. I kind of just gesture upward.
But they don't know you personally. Me? Well, they don't know I'm against them, really. I don't think that's gotten to them yet. They don't know I'm holding some grudges. Woo!
oh,
So, stealth could be easier than we think if they aren't expecting enemies of us.
Right.
So we could use the fact that they know me to our advantage and possibly.
I guess that's another question is, would it just be you and I going after them? Would
I think
Hardjack
Ken.
be involved? Would Ken be involved?
I think Ken's involved, and Hardjack would be staying here.
That'd be right. Well, maybe not. I'd be okay with traveling if I'd be able to get my hands around the neck of the Shadrack myself.
If we... do they have to be alive for you to find satisfaction in having your hands around their neck? Or can they already be dead?
We'll take a look at the wanted posters. Is it wanted dead or alive or wanted alive?
it is specifically stating wanted alive, and actually, noticing that Nobody, you get the sense that Hardjack Eter is like the reason that Hardjack was going after like Ken and like trying to put together a team is because she does not want Cowrie alive. The bounty specifically specifies taken back to the Arbor, like to Yasa 6
That's what I'm
alive.
saying.
Yeah.
So
what I'm
brought to
saying.
her to
I
be
thought-
throttled and murdered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Arthur, or not Arthur, sorry. Harjack, you just want your loot, right?
And also satisfaction for my father's father.
Oh, yes, okay.
So
But yes, your father's father, your grandfather, very important. However, your other main competitor in this is Yasa Sit Spirals, who has kind of a claim on Cowrie's life first and foremost. So you can take that up with her if you want to have a little bit of extra time with Cowrie before Yasa does her business. But I can guarantee the loot. Cowrie, I can't guarantee. But it could be satisfaction enough to know their fate.
Give me a persuasion check.
Persuasion, 14.
14. Hardjack looks to you and goes,
We'll see exactly what Ken's plan's going to be. But it seems that you have a better command over your emotions than I do. So maybe it'd be better to have a level-headed person instead of me just trying to beat the shit out of everybody I see tangentially related to Cowrie.
I mean, hey, you do you. I can't stop you.
You're a supporter of strong, independent women. I can
Except
see
for
it.
her.
Except for her, that dumb harlot.
I'm sorry, it was a joke, I swear.
It's alright. You've recognized your biases and are fighting against them.
okay.
Charlotte is a very capable woman. I respect her.
The door flies open and Ken says, I could not disagree more. And Ken is walking in with Ophia right behind him.
If Delilah, you know how on Sims they have like the yes for like good interactions and negative for she would have a negative above her head
For
about
Ken?
interaction. When he came in, she would have been like, "Wow."
Ken looks out at all of you and goes, I have a bit of an idea. And this usually goes well. But I think in order for us to be as effective as possible, we should split up. Delilah, you mentioned storm magic specifically, correct?
Yes.
And Nobody, I want to be honest with you. I talked with Ophia.
yes.
Ophia revealed to me your surname. Now, I am going to respect your boundaries and not say it out loud, but just know that I have heard that name, and I have heard that name before.
How long ago before?
And Ken has a very slight dry smile and says, decades. 14, 20 years, perhaps.
We will have to talk more.
Well, the plan rests on this. And he pulls out his book again and goes, it pays to write things down. Literacy truly is greater than the sword when everyone around you is unarmed. And Ken Ken has a bit of a plan if you guys would like to hear it. If you guys have any questions, I will also hear them. What do you want to do?
I'll hear the plan.
Before we hear your plan, Ophia, I am being paid for that fact, correct?
But of course.
And she pulls a satchel full of 20 platinum coins and tosses it over to you.
Thank you.
I always pay loyal employees.
Very well.
Ophia's going to do a very important investigation check real quick before Ken goes into his plan.
Okay.
19 on the die from Ophia.
Whoa.
Ophia just starts investigating the posters, and we're going to get back to her in 1 minute. Ken begins to lay out a map of the palm and the fist, and he takes an inkwell out of... Fuck you, Kate! The first DM disadvantage.
disadvantage.
I have
Oh,
to roll that
no.
check with disadvantage.
Hold on. Can I redeem points for this? Oh, I can't do it for the same one. Could I give you inspiration as a DM?
No, there's no DM inspiration yet, sadly. But I will roll that with disadvantage. Kate, this might change the entire course of some stuff that's coming up later. I'm gonna
Oh my
roll with
God.
disadvantage. An 11 on the die. Okay. I need to roll, no, actually, I need to roll stealth check for paper. Oh my god, okay. Ophia fails her investigation. She's able to look at all of the bounty posters and passes them by and does not add anything, any other information, which is so incredibly important.
God damn it.
That legitimately just changed a significant part of things going forward, and I will say this right now, that just made Mocha's life a hell of a lot easier. I'm just gonna say that, okay? Kate, what a smart move. Clip it if you can. Good God, what a great use of that redemption.
PvP already enabled between the parties.
Wait, what?
PvP already enabled.
Yeah. Meta PvP.
Ken lays out a map of the palm of the fist and goes, does anybody know where they plan to go next? Delilah, you were with them most recently. Is there any inclination as to where?
I thought they were coming to the well next. I think.
So
Is that correct?
so yes, that's what Tyr told you. But Ken goes, if that's what they told you, I don't know if that's their plan. I think it'd be very the only thing waiting for them so far, because revenge on Ophia seems foolish. They were already paid to not want to do that. And I see no record here of why else they would want to return to the well. Do you have any other information regarding that?
Do I? Let me see. I can't remember last time, so my notes say the well. Hold on. My notes from last time kind of suck. It just
You're
says
all good.
island turnaround, the well, rebound, Bular Fortress. Are those things I was told they might be going to, or just places they've been?
Places
can't
they might be
remember.
going to.
Okay. So the only places I can really say that they might be going to is turnaround, rebound, or Bular Fortress.
Ken
Possibly.
Looks at you and goes, advantageous we caught you then. Depends upon who gave you that information, but I don't think they're coming here next. And if they are, well, they'd be attacking friends for legitimately no benefit of their own and just destroying an allyship that they already have. So unlikely. But I do have an idea of where they might be going next. He walks over to the bounty posters and goes, I think Charlotte is running the show. She's charismatic, she's a captain, and people follow her command. Now, I cannot imagine why, given she led her last group into the dirt, but perhaps it's her irresistible personality. You mentioned lightning. Ken looks at the map of the palm of the fist, and with an inkwell, he circles the Molar Isles in the southeastern corner of the map. The Molar Isles are two protruding mountains of... they are silver mines and gold mines poking out of the sea, connected by Gangplank Crossing, a 20-mile-long bridge city that's an open trade port for non-slavers and slavers to trade. And Ken points to it and goes, I think they're going here next. Her and Rahi's lightning. there are random lightning strikes that happen on the Crown Isle, the operating base of Dr. Mabel Redwood. Now, I'm not sure if you said that Charlotte can't control her powers. Well, it's very possible she might find the answer in there. Especially because one of her old SPUF members is currently being held captive inside of the Crown Isle, being used as a research assistant by Dr. Mabel Redwood. He goes by the name of Jessup Fuse Gowson. Just make sure I got that right.
Jessup Fuse.
Geppel Fuse Gowson. Gepple. Fuse as like a nickname, and then Gowson, Gausson.
Gausson.
Yes.
And that person is who again?
Ken looks at you and goes, he's a gnomish artificer who is known to be very proficient with all kinds of technology. His ship, the name, sadly, which I have forgotten. Again, these were not very important people. But seemed to be focused on electricity, enjoyed experimenting with Rahi, trying to channel her innate energy, and perhaps Rahi and Charlotte will try to find him within the Crown Isle in an attempt to understand their own powers. Now, the reason why I know he's there is because I'm the one that put him there. When SPUF started going to shit, I started kind of picking them off. They were worth a lot to the slavers, and well, I'm looking to retire one day. So I know that he's still there, as Dr. Mabel Redwood would not treat him with hostility. To lose a mind of that caliber would be disgusting to her.
So just to clarify, you sold people to slavery?
There were bounties on them. SPUF was in opposition to the slaver lords.
It's a yes or no.
If
I'm
you
just clarifying.
I have done jobs for Ophia. I have done jobs for the Doctor. I have done jobs for the head rolls of the Arbor. I have done jobs for the slaver lords of the Fist.
Okay. I was just asking for clarification. And so, why do you believe her and Rahi are going there now, rather than somewhere else?
Because Charlotte, being reckless, irresponsible, and leading the crew, is going to immediately plunge her new fleet into danger to try to reconstruct her old life, most likely.
And how do you know she's leading the crew?
Because what other options do they have? They have a angry, storm cloud, brainless woman. They have a man suffering from psychosis. They have a water genasi who is as dangerous as a cannon with its fuse lit pointed towards the hull of the ship that it's on. And they have a man so consumed with nature and morality he's going to rip the throats out of anyone competent. Charlotte's the only option they have for a leader.
And yet she's the one who you spoke the least highly of.
However,
by your own account, Olive was the most powerful one in that crew. And the last time I was with them, she was the one funding and hosting their crew. If anyone would be leading, it would be her.
He takes out his notebook and writes that down. Olive was funding and leading the crew the last time you saw them.
She's a terror board. They have a whole tavern chain that they were able to stay at and rest and recuperate.
Closes the book, puts it back in his satchel, and goes, "That's incredibly valuable information. Thank you."
I'll be honest, I don't know who your sources are.
Well, given I saw them only a week and a half ago, I had to make some assumptions about... again, they were also holding me at knife point, magic point. They were threatening my life repeatedly. I had to remain on guard while also making all of the observations I possibly could. But thank you for updating my information. I'll make sure to watch out for Olive.
You're welcome.
Could I make 2 checks?
Yes, what do you want to make?
An insight check on Kenneth, just in general.
Okay.
And then an Arcana check with the constant repeated mentioning of Storm Sorcery if I know anything about it.
Okay, excellent. Was going to bring you into that in 1 second, but go ahead and make those rolls now for me.
Okay.
Give me the insight check on Ken first.
Yep. Insight check first is a 10.
Oh, the 10? You know this dude's cold as ice. He seems very competent, but very detached. And more than that, I can't really get into.
Okay. And then Arcana check?
Yep.
Alright, +0. That's cocked. 14.
14. You think back to your childhood, and you think back to the immediate aftermath of when that important figure in your life disappeared. And you remember that searching all throughout the house, all throughout the village that you were in, something's not adding up here. And you realize that the one thing that wasn't adding up, it's like this palpable electricity that was motivating you, that was like making you think faster. It almost reads like anxiety. But then you remember your hair. Again, much shorter. You were incredibly young. Perhaps you didn't even notice it, but you remember your father and you remember your siblings, if however many you had. Again, we're working out the details, but you are able to remember that once you all held each other, when you were struggling to figure out what to do, there was a momentary pain as you connected, and as you looked up, their hair was standing up. Kenneth Ward looks over to you, Nobody, and says, now, of course, honoring your privacy, in my time in the Molar Isles, it was my understanding that there were shipments of orcs and half-orcs being taken to Dr. Mabel Redwood as well. And in the logs that I was able to view of the bronze-collared slaves being marched into her labs, I noticed that there was a prevalence of half-orcs and orcs. I would have to imagine that it has something to do with the idea of your relentless endurance, the ability to sustain massive amounts of damage and simply not expire, but that is just pure conjecture.
Alright. And the only thing I would have gotten is that storm magic kind of causes a static buildup in the area around. Okay.
Yes, it does. And you would also know that with what Kenneth said, there are random lightning strikes that hit. We got her with uncontrolled lightning magic. We got Rahi with uncontrolled lightning magic, and we have random strikes of lightning hitting the Crown Isle, the base of MRPHD. As Ken looks and says, Delilah, you want to get ahead of them? Nobody, perhaps you would like to investigate that vein, again, not wanting to go into too much detail. And Hardjack Atur, you want that loot back. Now this is where I think Hardjack would come into play. Hardjack, how much money do the Aturs have to spend in your pursuit of this loot? And Hardjack says one word that makes a grin creep across her face, Ken's face, and Ophia's face as she says, "Unlimited!" As you realize that Hardjack is the money of this operation. Running this giant casino empire, the Aturs do have money to spare. Ken then begins to pontificate and says, well, if I understand one thing, it's that slaves, no matter how valued, can be bought. If you are able to make your way over to the Crown Isle, perhaps if you are able to obtain this fuse, hold him as a hostage, and have your enemies come to you. But that is just my thinking. If you have anything else, I would love to hear it. But that was my idea.
So to get it straight, your plan is to capture Who?
Who are you talking to?
You, Ken.
Ken. My plan looks to Ophia. Purchasing sending stones, we can remain in contact. Just in case your ideas are correct, I can remain here. You will be welcomed into Gangplank Crossing. There will be no foul play there. Again, it's an open, free trade city with the Slavers of the Fist. So you will be probably in the most secure place in Eastern Waters. But to make sure that we do not miss them on the back half, I can remain here along with Ophia, and we can notify you if Moch arrives here.
So, we're going to the Molar Isles in the far southeast
Yes.
to kidnap someone in an attempt to lure them out. Correct? Or am I misunderstanding?
To be
here?
correct about the etymology, you would be purchasing a person. Now, whether or not you free them afterwards, potentially, if you wish to stage a rescue, also possible.
Right.
No.
That feels dubious.
Hey, Mr. Fuck, what's her last name? Hold on, I got this. I got Mr. Ward. You're welcome to do that. I'm not doing that.
I would much prefer not to partake in the slave trade.
Kenneth,
Especially with what you're alluding to happen to a close family member of mine.
Kenneth nods his head to both of you, and says, well, then what would you propose? What is the plan?
How recent were these Latin extracts reported on the Crown Isles?
They happen at random intervals, sometimes only once per month, sometimes several per week. If I had to posit a guess, perhaps due to the doctor's experimentation within her laboratory, perhaps they're just random geological events, but that seems like too
Right.
much of a coincidence for me.
Do we know where Moch is the group's name, correct?
So essentially, we're just gonna go buy a slave, hope that they're going there, and have no guarantee that that's actually where they're going, because we are just going off of hearsay. They're following Charlotte's lead, even though we don't actually have any proof of that at all.
They're also not guaranteed to come here.
No, that is true. So it kind of seems like maybe we should do a little bit more research before going
Yes.
off to some island.
Do we know where their last confirmed location was and how long ago that was?
They're
The Arbor,
Oh, excuse me.
correct? The Arbor, right?
About a
It's
week.
been a long time since I played. I'm so
all good,
sorry.
all good. About a week and a half ago, I ran into them at the Grip Isle. There was I was on a job at the time, and coincidences happened, and I actually ran into Cowrie Shadrack, Olivine Terraborg, before I was aware of what happened at the Battle of the Bards. But from there, they could have gone north, south, east, west. I'm unsure what their next destination is.
Is there
Alright.
a general direction of the wind that would make it easier for them to travel one direction rather than another?
East or south is most likely.
Alright, well, if it's east or south, the Grip Isle would be the correct.
Yep.
East or south means that they could have already gone down to the Molar Isles, as that's further southeast of the Grip.
They might
If
be
they're
there right now.
from-
I'm unsure.
Right.
I'm not against going to the Molar Isles. And as I was saying before, they might be trusting of me just because of some history we have together. Or they might not be distrusting of me. So were we to find them in the Molar Isles, we could have a foot in the door.
Okay. All right. Hardjack looks to all of you and goes,
I think it might be wise for us all to take the evening to rest on the house and come back to planning in the morning to see exactly where they show up.
I agree.
Alright.
All right.
Ken goes, I'll be staying in my room. Ophia looks incredibly worried on her face, and Ken goes up to her very quickly and goes, Ophia, you take the evening. I think we can take it from here. As Ophia goes,
Thank you, Kenneth. I appreciate it.
give me an insight check on Ophia.
Who?
What?
Okay.
19!
19? Ophia almost looks like she's in mourning, like she's grieving in a way.
Damn. Rough.
Yeah, and Kenneth says, then why don't we, okay, I will head out this evening, and I will go prime some contacts to see if they arrive anywhere within the well, if they are foolish enough to do so. I will go and contact the All-Seer to see if she's able to notice them come in any way, and I will make sure to have certain alarms set up if they go to specific locations.
Sounds good.
But to that, everyone have a nice evening, and Ken looks to all of you and goes, I'm excited to be working together.
Well, I'll work with you as well.
No team.
As Kenneth Ward disappears in front of all of you, are there any closing thoughts, any closing conversations to be had before we wrap for tonight?
I don't think so. That I would want
No.
to have in character, at least.
Okay.
Yeah, I think, I'm good.
Okay, then with that, as Kenneth Ward disappears in front of all of you, that is where we're going to end tonight's session. Ladies and gentlemen, we all have a good time?
Wonderful
Yes.
Yes, yes. Wonderful, absolutely awesome. Cecilia, welcome to the world of the palm and the fist. What'd you
time.
think?
Yippee! Great fun.
Yay!
Excited to hunt some fuckers down.
I promise that there's not going to be this much information in every session. It's just because I was like, how the fuck do I communicate all of this to Cecilia, who's never played before, and then also get her caught up immediately? Like,
It's a big world you're jumping into.
yeah.
Yep.
But an important part, yeah, it is so funny to me that you guys are immediately like, we are not buying a person. Absolutely not. There has to be another plan.
I am partaking in that slave trade.
Understandable, yes.
I'm not doing that.
But a connection to nobody's past somewhere in the Molar Isle. Kenneth Ward betrayed
Molar
Charlotte
Isle.
Withers years ago and is part of the reason that Spuff disbanded in the first place. Kenneth Ward is laying his little traps around the well to see if anybody shows up, and it seems that Delilah, Nobody, and the remainder of this villainous crew are going to be in the well for the foreseeable future. And also, the first use of DM disadvantage has permanently affected the story
God,
of Palm on the Fist going
that was
forward.
crazy.
Kate, you just saved someone's life, and I'm not going to tell you who. Incredible job. Incredible. But with all of that, is there anything else before we sign off for the evening, guys?
I will have a meta question after we sign off.
Okay, not a problem at all. Kate, anything you want to say?
I'm excited to see where we go.
Okay, got it. Well, in that case, everybody have a wonderful evening. Kate and Gab and anybody else
Bye,
in
Kate,
chat,
bye,
we deeply
Gab.
appreciate you guys. I will be seeing you in part 5. See you then. Peace out, guys.